Happy Wacky Wednesday! At least I hope that you are mixing it up and that you are not just going Bible, math, language arts, writing, and then ending with history. I hope that you are mixing it up and starting with history maybe, or starting with math, or whatever you feel like starting with today. So, I am teaching history. I am going to go over what was assigned to you by Mrs. Ricard and the study guide pages that are optional. I'm going to go over the answers, and then I'm going to assign you new pages to read and a new study guide page. So let's get started. The first thing that you read about is Thomas Jefferson. And we see that he wins the election in 1800 versus John Adams. And people were really concerned about Jefferson winning the election because they felt like he would want to burn their Bibles, that he did not like the church in some ways. So when he won the election, a church in New England, the Baptists in New England, actually sent him a giant cheese. And he writes them a letter and gives them a donation back, and he says, or makes the point to say, that there should be a separation of church and the government, meaning that the national government should not get involved with the churches. You also read about the Supreme Court precedent, which meant that they could declare laws unconstitutional. And then you read a little bit about Barbary pirates, and this is pirates. Okay, they take ships for their own and they steal things and do all of those bad things that pirates do. So in the Mediterranean Sea, there were American ships that were sailing through, and they were attacked by these pirates. And other countries like England and France paid these pirates to not attack them. And Jefferson didn't want to do that. So instead, Jefferson takes the newly created U.S. Navy and sends them to the Mediterranean Sea so that they could defeat the pirates, which they do. And so then they made a deal with the pirates so that the pirates will not attack American ships. After you learned about the pirates, you learned about the Louisiana Purchase. And the Louisiana Purchase, as we know, was New Orleans all the way west up towards what we know today as North and South Dakota, Montana, kind of the middle part of the country. Now, Congress had already allowed Jefferson to buy New Orleans, which is in Louisiana, for $2 million. Now, France wanted to get rid of more of the land that they owned in what is the United States. So France wanted to sell more, but it was going to cost $15 million. And it included New Orleans, but it stretched far to the west of the Mississippi. And the Federalists were against this idea for two reasons. One, the people who lived in this territory had a different religion than the Americans, and they felt like if Americans lived in this land, then they should have the same religion, or people who live in that land should have the same religion as Americans. They were also concerned about slavery being spread into this new land, and they didn't want slavery to expand any more than it had to do. But Jefferson ran into a problem, and that problem was that the Constitution did not say anything about buying territory. Could they do it? Could they not do it? What was the deal? So Jefferson sent the treaty to Congress for a decision. And Congress created Article 2, Section 2 of the Constitution, which permitted the president to make treaties, which included a treaty to make land, or to buy land. Okay, and it had to be 2/3 of the Senate agreeing on this treaty for it to pass. With that said, Jefferson bought the land. He sent Lewis and Clark to explore the land, and Lewis was actually Jefferson's secretary, where Clark was a retired soldier, okay, who had experience in land mapping and being able to know where they were. Along the way, they meet Sacagawea, who helped them translate when they ran into Native Americans, and they actually travel all the way to the Pacific Ocean, and this exploration took 2.5 years. And they recorded 178 new plants and 122 different animals along their way. So that's what you read after you watch the video of Mrs. Ricard, now I'm going to go over the answers, so please take this out. Okay, and up there you have page 76, and I'm not going to go through each line, but this is a PowerPoint that is on RenWeb that has all the answers for Bible, math, and history. And so if you ever need to check your answers, this PowerPoint is perfect for that. Okay, so I'm just going to show real quick. Notice that this says answer incomplete sentences. Okay, and then I'm going to show you 77, which looks like this. All right, and so now I'm assigning you to read pages 110 and through 112, and you are going to read about James Madison. You're going to read about the War of 1812. You are going to read what happens after the War of 1812. Now, in a way, the War of 1812 was a second fight for independence for America. So that's going to be really interesting. I hope you enjoy learning about that. After that, you are going to do page 78 if you so choose. That looks like this. Okay. And that is your history lesson for today. Now, in addition to watching me, there are also a ton of videos on our playlist that talk about history. War of 1812, Louisiana Purchase, Lewis and Clark, the Schoolhouse Rock that has I'm Just a Bill. Like, make sure you watch those because those help you to take what you're reading and really reinforce it. So, I hope you enjoy this lesson. I hope that you are enjoying learning about what happens after the Revolutionary War. It's a really interesting time in American history because there's so many, like, we tried this didn't work, let's try this. And so many, like, trial and errors until they get to what we know today. And if they hadn't been willing to do what they did, our country would look very different today. So just remember that what you're reading about helped to create what you know of American history and what America looks like and why we have the freedoms we do. And if these people that we're reading about didn't fight for American independence, we wouldn't have American independence. We would all be British right now. But we're lucky because we had these founding fathers who fought for independence. So remember that and remember to enjoy the fact that you are an American. So again, you are reading pages 110 to 112. Again, reading about James Madison, War of 1812, and what it looked like after the war, doing page 78. And watching some videos. Again, I hope you enjoy. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys. Oh.